This is Future Archive. The year is 2100. We turn our eyes to Istanbul, once the shining jewel of empires, a city that lived on the line between two worlds, between East and West, between past and future. For thousands of years, it has endured earthquakes, sieges, fires, and wars, but nothing in its long history prepared it for this, the rising of the seas. For decades, scientists warned that climate change would reshape the planet. They spoke of melting ice, rising tides, and storms more powerful than any in recorded history. But few listened. The world was too busy, too distracted, too unwilling to change. By the middle of the 21st century, the warnings became reality. Each year, the water crept higher. Each year, the storms grew stronger. And Istanbul, a city built on the Bosphorus, found itself on the front line of a global disaster. At first, people believed it could be stopped. Walls were built. Barriers stretched across the shoreline. Engineers promised that the city would be safe, but the sea is patient, and the sea always wins. By 2080, the defenses had collapsed. Storm surges tore through districts once thought untouchable. The waters poured into the old city, swallowing streets, homes, and markets. The Grand Bazaar fell silent, its stalls buried beneath the tide. The blue mosque shimmered under the waves, its great domes glowing faintly in the filtered sunlight. Hagia Sophia became a sanctuary for fish, its ancient mosaics guarded by schools of silver. Topkapi Palace, once the heart of empire, became a shadowed fortress beneath the sea. Fish swam where merchants once sold spices, and octopuses explored arches carved by human hands centuries before. And yet, the city did not vanish. It transformed. In the face of disaster, Istanbul rose again, not on land, but on water. Floating districts were built across the Bosphorus, anchored to towers that stretched down into the depths. Entire neighborhoods now drift upon the currents, homes, markets, schools, even gardens swaying with the waves. Children play football on platforms that shift with the tide. Boats have replaced buses, weaving between districts like veins of a living organism. And ferries, once small and wooden, are now electric giants, silent leviathans carrying thousands across the sea each day. Galata Tower remains, but no longer stands upon solid ground. Its base is swallowed by the water. Now it rises from the sea like a lighthouse, a sentinel watching over the floating metropolis. It has seen Byzantium, Constantinople, Istanbul, and now the city of the sea. To survive, Istanbul embraced technology. Solar fields stretch across Anatolia, feeding energy to the city. Wind towers spin along the Marmara, their blades flashing silver against the horizon. Every building became more than a shelter. Walls breathe, filtering toxins from the air. Roofs bloom with vertical gardens, drawing carbon from the sky. Floors hum with turbines, harvesting energy from the currents below. Artificial domes shimmer across the skyline, great bubbles that hold districts within them. Inside, streets look almost as they once did. Dry, warm, lit by lanterns and neon. Children ride bikes where their grandparents once walked cobblestones, a simulation of the past, protected inside a shell of the future. At night, the city glows like a jewel adrift on black waters. Towers blaze with neon light. Ships glitter like stars upon the waves. The call to prayer still sounds, carried now by digital speakers, blending with the hum of engines. Faith and machine, past and future, all woven together. The waters did not erase memory. Instead, they created a new kind of museum. Divers swim daily through Hagia Sophia, recording mosaics that still gleam with color. Submarine concert halls host orchestras in glass domes, where violins rise and wail song answers in the distance. Audiences listen as schools of fish drift above them, light dancing through the water. Artists turn ruins into canvases. They project holograms onto the sea, recreating markets and streets of the past. On certain nights, you can see entire neighborhoods glowing beneath the waves, ghosts made of light. The city's soul lingers, not in stone alone, but in memory, art, and invention. But not every tale is one of triumph. Tens of thousands were forced to leave. Families abandoned homes built by their ancestors. Photographs, heirlooms, laughter, all lost to the tide. Yet those who stayed carried with them a spirit older than any empire. Istanbul has always endured. It endured the fires of Byzantium, the sieges of Constantinople, the collapse of the Ottoman Empire. It endured earthquakes and invasions. And now, in 2100, it endures again, reborn as the floating city. Grandparents tell stories to children who will never walk the old streets. They describe pigeons flocking to squares now long gone, the smell of roasted chestnuts, the sound of merchants calling out in the bazaars. For those children, the past is a story, but it is also a heartbeat that echoes in every wave. The world looks to Istanbul. Some see it as a warning, proof of what happens when humanity ignores the call of nature. Others see it as a triumph, evidence of human resilience, of the will to adapt. Leaders come here to study. Scientists examine the domes, the platforms, the turbines. Writers call it a scar, a miracle, a beacon. And for the millions who live here, it is simply home. This is Future Archive. The year is 2100. Istanbul has changed forever, yet it endures. The city of two continents is now the city of the sea. Its mosques sleep beneath the waves. Its towers glow above the surface. Its people live between memory and invention. What awaits humanity in the next century? What other cities will sink, and what new lives will rise? The future is closer than we think, and it is already being written.